motion?
Mail.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Yep, all set.
She didn't respond.
The proper thing is to respond. Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Raynham Board of Selectmen. This is October 16th, and it is our Selectmen's meeting, and we have returned from an executive session. Pat, do you want to go over that at all?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we vote to approve the contractual agreement with the OPEIU and the town of Raynham from July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2020. It's a 2-year contract and allows for a 2% increase each of the 2 years. Each
Okay.
year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And at the same time, I would like to ratify the police dispatchers. It is also a 2-year contract, and they have 2% also.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think that's it. We did approve the executive session minutes with corrections. All right. And just a reminder that we are being recorded live by Raycam. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Do I have a motion on the minutes?
Madam Chair, motion to approve the minutes from October 2nd.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the current minutes?
I believe those are still under review, as they're not in our packets.
Okay. We have with us this evening Matt Tennis, who is our health agent, and he's going to give a report. Matt, please.
Just some highlights from the past, probably about 5 weeks since I was in front of the board. First and foremost, the mosquitoes and the West Nile virus and Eastern equine encephalitis. Fortunately, I think only a couple more weeks until the threat of any mosquito-borne illness will be past us for the year. Once we reach a hard frost, which is 28 degrees or lower for 4 consecutive hours, the mosquito season has ended. With that, however, to date, the total number of reported West Nile human cases for this season is 42, which just makes the highest number of cases in Massachusetts ever recorded in a single year. The previous highest record was in 2012 with 33 cases. So, for whatever reason, most likely the excessive rain we've been having throughout the spring, summer, and into the fall, as well as the high humidity and warmer temperatures, has definitely contributed to the increase in cases. Fortunately, the Triple E, only 2 positive mosquitoes have been found in the whole state. One was in Lakeville about a month ago, and the other one was in, I believe, Hubbardston, which is Central Mass. No human cases, no animal cases. So, fortunately, and that's certainly the more, it's Triple E is definitely the more concern of the 2. But until we do reach that hard frost, again, just a reminder to folks at home that if you're outdoors, especially after dusk and before dawn, try to wear long sleeves. It's easier now that it's cooler. Wear bug repellent, things like that. So, I conducted the Board of Health emergency call down drill and had an 82% success, which is very good. Mass Department of Public Health, starting with this drill, is requiring new forms to be filled out that give a more detail, not just a percentage, but actually who called and what the position would hold should we have to open an emergency dispensing site. So I'm working with our emergency planner to get those filled out and submitted to the state. And over the next few months, we'll also be having to do a walkthrough of our emergency dispensing site as a second drill to satisfy our requirements for the state. The food inspections are all current, including the schools. Schools are all satisfactory. and all the routine complaints have been handled with full compliance. And Brian McCracken, our inspector, as of today, he completed the Mass DEP Soil Evaluator course. It's a lengthy course, and the material's somewhat difficult, but in order to witness and or perform any soil evaluations in the state of Massachusetts, even for the Board of Health, it's required. So it's a big undertaking, and today he finished his last field exam. So, and then just two other things. I'm not sure if anyone's aware, but the statewide will be raising the legal age to purchase tobacco, cigarettes and e-cigarettes, to 21. It's going to go into effect December 31st. There is a grandfathering clause that will not pertain to Raynham, since we already have a age 21 regulation. So, and just as a reminder, flu season's around the corner, so if you haven't gotten your flu shot, definitely get it.
Did you get your flu shot?
I got it last week.
Good boy, I haven't got mine yet.
Any questions?
No, things are going well.
Yes, very
Good.
well.
Good. I have no questions. Questions?
No questions, just comments. Thank you, Matt, and I'm happy to hear that Brian is continuing to progress in his role and taking advantage of some continuing ed opportunities, because that only helps the office, so it's good to hear. Thank you.
Thank you for your report, excellent.
Have a good night.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Matt.
Matt.
We have one appointment this evening.
Madam Chair, I think Bob was looking to address this as well.
Really? No, that's okay. We can do it now if that's what you want. I was going to put him down
sorry.
further.
Do you want me to
That's
be
all
brief?
right.
I can be brief. if
Joe
you like.
moved. Joe elevated you, so.
Good evening. A couple of things I want to discuss tonight. First, I want to give you just a rundown of what's been going on downstairs in my office. Fiscal year to date, we've issued 148 building permits, 121 electrical permits, and 176 gas and plumbing permits. So we've been pretty busy down there. As far as ongoing projects around town, we have the gas station and the commercial building at the Bradford Trailer site. That's underway. The hotel at 5 Commerce Way, that's also underway. The Honey Baked Ham building, you've all seen that. That's in high gear. Across the street, the Kia dealership, that building is almost complete. They're working on the site through the winter. The Skyline building is complete. They have an occupancy permit. They had their open house, I believe, last weekend. We have the ongoing project at the Christopher's Restaurant and Bar. We have the CVS building that's also coming out of the ground on the other end of the Broadway. Stretch, Harbor Freight, which is going to be taking over the old Benny's building. They're going to be starting their renovation project fairly soon. We're up to about 41 houses at Bassett Knoll, so lots of activity there. Throughout the rest of the town, there's approximately 12 more new houses being built as we speak, and there are multiple residential renovation projects going on. So lots of things going on downstairs in my office. The other thing I wanted to briefly discuss tonight is the Route 138 study committee. We've had 2 public forums. We're going to go back to committee. That committee is going to increase from 6 members to 10 members. We're going to reconvene, if you will, on November 6th. I think it's 3 weeks from tonight. We will try to redraft the document in 2 or 3 or whatever number of meetings we need. And then once that document has been finalized, we'll submit it to your board for your review. And then once you give us some direction, hopefully it'll get to the planning board for a public hearing.
Okay.
Another topic I'd like to quickly address with you is about a year and a half, well, probably 2 years ago now, I came to you and asked you to appoint Nate Darling, who is the Lakeville Building Inspector, to do some inspections for me when I found there was a conflict, or if I was on vacation, or if I was sick, or whatever had been the issue. He has been doing a great job. However, he wears a lot of hats in Lakeville. He's pretty much involved in everything that goes on in Lakeville, and he's finding it more and more difficult to do those inspections for me. So I'd like to, with your approval, appoint another name or two so that I can have other people to fall back on.
So you would want two people, or one person that's going to cover it all, or would you use two?
My suggestion would have a list of at least 3 to 5 different people, but I would like at least one for the time being. And when I identify other people, I'd like to bring those names to you.
And Bob, just to clarify for the audience at home, you're talking about having people in an on-call status. These aren't going to be salaried employees.
No, so in my budget, we have a line item for alternate inspections.
Right.
Those inspections get paid, those people get paid by the inspection, and they go out when we call them when I'm either on vacation, if I'm sick, which, doesn't happen very often, or when I have a conflict.
I have no problem with
All
that.
right, motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will,
If you will come up with the names though, Bob, and
I
let us
will
know.
send the names to Mr. Flaherty
Okay,
for your review.
sounds good.
Okay, great, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And then lastly, and thank you for your time, we've been waiting for some kind of a schematic or plan for the entryway here to close it in. That hasn't happened, it hasn't shown up, and we thought we'd have it months and months ago. We're about to go into another, winter season where we have lots of problems down there with icing and water buildup. So I was thinking, with your approval, that I would reach out to an architect to try to get some preliminary ideas put together, maybe not for a full enclosure, but maybe for at least a roof enclosure for the time being that could be maybe closed in the future. But I think at least a roof would solve some of our problems to get the water away from the lower level up to the upper level and shed away from the building. We wouldn't have that icing issue, and we'd have more of a covered entryway. Probably not an inexpensive project, but something at least we could get on paper so that we can review it and see, our options are.
Okay. Question?
Bob and I had talked about this. We had a long conversation about many issues recently, and my approach had always been to fix the drainage, and I know some approaches was to put in a whole vestibule, which I kind of thought was excessive, and Bob proposed the idea of expanding the roof, which I think is a good idea. It's less money than the vestibule, and Bob feels, in his professional opinion, that it would be a little bit more of a safeguard than just alleviating the drainage concern. So I have no issues. The only question I would ask is, do you have an approximate cost? Because as we're preparing for the capital town meeting, if it's going to be over X amount of dollars, then it should go on the warrant so we can budget for it.
Yeah, at this time, it would be just a guess, and I wouldn't even want to put
Okay.
that kind of a number to it. It would depend on what kind of a roof, what kind of a structure.
Oh, no, I meant for the study,
Oh,
to get your estimates and sketch.
I would say we would at least need 10,000.
Okay.
I would recommend that we put an article in
Yeah, for the study.
to get the study
architectural.
done for architectural design or whatever that's required in order to get it going, and then see what they come up with. They may suggest, yeah, just a roof over, it's fine, or they may suggest something different, but at least to get the study going, because I don't want to get soaking wet again, like the last time we left this town hall and you had to walk through a deep puddle.
I'd motion to approve.
Second.
David, can you get that article together, please? And get it to capital for next week? Okay? And you sure 10,000 is going to be enough?
Again, that's just a number that off the top of my head. At least we could start with that, and then if it becomes more of a project, we can revisit it.
Okay. Well, if you think of it any differently, see David
I'll talk to David.
before the article goes in,
Very good.
to make sure capital and finance know about, because they're the ones that are dealing with all the money. I thank you very much for your
Thank you
report.
very
Pat, do you
much.
have any comments or
No,
anything?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we can go to appointments, of which we have one, and it's an appointment for a constable, and it's for Lawrence T. Cabaneris.
Motion to reappoint.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's that. No public hearings this evening, and we took care of the new business under the executive session. Do you have any old business?
None.
Town administrators report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ongoing projects in town, just a reminder, the special town meeting is scheduled for November 19th, 2018, and that'll be at the Titicate Middle School, Raynham Middle School on Titicate Road. The pre-town meeting is November 13th, which would be the previous Tuesday at 7 p.m. here in Town Hall. All articles should be submitted no later than October 23rd, preferably sooner. The animal control officer's vehicle should be started this week. There were some delays due to the vendor having medical issues. And then a reminder, Historical Commission needs 2 more members, as far as I know, and contact either Ms. Riley or my office if you are interested. Also, another important reminder, next Board of Selectmen's meeting will be October 23rd and will be held at the South School due to early voter registration here in Town Hall. So be sure to put that on your calendar. Upcoming events, obviously the next 2 meetings will be, for Selectmen, will be at the South School, October 23rd and the October 30th. Next department head meeting will be this Thursday, October 18th. And the Southeast Mass Health Group will be November 8th at 9 a.m. in Seekonk. And the next Sursage meeting will be November 7th at 9 a.m. in Mansfield.
Any questions for Dave?
No, thank you.
Okay. Selectmen's report, anything?
I have 2, Madam Chair. The first is, the 2 of you were also at the forum last Thursday, the 138 forum, and as the 2 of you are aware, I had some comments that I delivered that evening, and what I'm looking for tonight is the board's affirmative vote to formally request Serpent's involvement moving forward in the 138 study committee zoning proposal. Why they're absent from it now is kind of perplexing to me, but that's their role, I believe. We're selling our residents short if they're not involved in it, and I would request in particular that they pay specific attention to what sounded like almost a unanimous concern, which is the traffic, recognizing that regardless of what goes there, you're not going to reduce the flow of traffic, the amount of cars, but I believe there are ways out there to manage flow, and that's an area where they have expertise in. And so my request would be for us to formally request on behalf of the town their participation and have them coordinate with Bob their efforts.
I have no problem with
I'll
that.
second that motion. I think our town moderator who's coordinating those efforts agreed with that and
Yes.
made those comments as well, so I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So Dave, we can get that letter out immediately?
Yep.
And then the other thing I have is, I don't know if the 2 of you were able to attend or not, but I was fortunate enough to get to the BP open house on Saturday. And Mrs. Smith, at least you know how important BP is to me, because you've
Yes, I
always...
do. That's why we left that to you to
Thank you, I
take care of.
appreciate that.
You should get the VIP treatment.
I do,
over there.
yes.
We don't.
It was extra fun for me because I got to see them do the grand opening for 2 new programs. Well, 1 new program and an expansion of an existing one. They have a new engineering technology program, and they expanded their childcare program. BP, I can tell you, when I went there were 6 of us from Raynham, and now there's a lot more than that. And I joke when people ask me how tough it is to get into BP, and I say it's like Harvard. But they have a massive wait list. I believe
They do, yes.
as of September, they had almost 600 kids on the wait list to
Isn't
get
that
into
wonderful?
BP. And I think it's just absolutely phenomenal. To me, BP is something that makes our community special. And I know the governor and his administration know that because there was grant money that the administration just awarded BP for their engineering technology program. So that was amazing to see, and I'm a little biased, but Governor Baker has been phenomenal in terms of his investment in Voc Tech education and really helping to continue to take the stigma away from what Voc education is, because over 90% of our students now are going on to some form of continuing education as opposed to going completely into the trade right away. And that's not to say that they don't get into the trade or stay into the trade, but they're choosing to continue their education. Really, really great marks on MCAS. morale is phenomenal there. The students love it there. They want to be there. I think when you walk the campus, you see the excitement and the enthusiasm that not just the students have, but also the faculty and staff have. It's just a contagious environment that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of now for almost 20 years. I know. And I'm really excited to see what they have going on moving forward. But I just wanted to offer those comments. So.
Thank you very much, and we know how much that meant to you
Yes.
to be able to represent this board in going there.
Yes.
And did you get the VIP treatment?
I did, yes. Yeah.
And you got all kinds of special food
All
and
kinds of
everything else.
special food,
They have
yeah.
a
What do you get?
restaurant quality cafeteria.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, it is. We
Yeah.
used to go to lunch there all the time, and I haven't gone there for quite some
It's
time.
still there. I
I'd
mean,
like to go back.
The prices went up a little bit, so it's an extra
Oh,
50
well.
cents or so, but.
Wow. It certainly is well worth it, because
Yes.
it's really, really good.
I did not get to the ribbon cutting, but I did skip over there, Joe. And I didn't ask for any VIP treatment. I was just one in the crowd.
We leave that for
But-
Joe.
yeah, exactly, but I wandered through the corridors, and it is obviously, it's an excellent program, and they had some wonderful student guides there that were very welcoming and very informative, and it is a great program, and they really provide excellent opportunity for our students, so that's terrific. Beyond that, I think next week, we're meeting with the Capital Planning and Finance Committee to work on that town meeting warrant. And as Bob Iafredi reported, the Route 138 Study Committee, it was a good turnout, I thought, at those meetings, and thank everybody who came and offered some input on that. Last Friday, did have the opportunity to attend the Raynham Schools Salute to Our Firefighters. The three schools, they meet at the Merrill School. They have a annual fireman's luncheon, and the students wrote these adorable little thank yous to the firefighters, and some of the comments are great. Thank you, firefighters. You're the real heroes. And this one was just adorable. They do a great job coloring, but this also says, firefighters, I love you. So
They're
it's really
adorable.
adorable.
Oh, my God.
And impress on the children that those are our real heroes, our firefighters, our police officers, our military members, not the action heroes that
And the
they
food
see.
was very good, too.
It was, yes,
It's very nice.
absolutely. And that's really all that I have. I will have more on our government study committee. I'm totally redrafting the survey I brought last week
good.
with input from the board. My intent with that was just to try to get a feel of people's priorities and some input, but I certainly don't want to give the impression that I'm thinking of a spending spree, exactly the opposite. Because I think if we have long-range plans and we look and get some research as far as what we really need, and we plan, we're less likely to spend needlessly or foolishly. So certainly a conservative approach. And I was just handed a letter. Dear Board of Selectmen, I would like to be a member of the Government Study Committee that is proposed. I've been a resident of Raynham nearly all my life, attended Raynham schools, and my children are all Raynham school educated. I am highly visible with both my career and volunteerism within the town. I am involved as a volunteer with many groups and organizations that span from our youngest elementary school-age children to our senior citizens, and feel that I will bring a very broad residential and taxpayer perspective to the Government Study Committee. My experience with real estate, residential and commercial transactions, research and development, and contracts would bring the practical and economic component to the table. I would like to see our town of Raynham be well prepared for the future, while at the same time preserving the attractive qualities of our community, which are pride, unity, and the charm of a close-knit town. And it's signed Rebecca Mello, who I know is a worker bee.
Yes, she
And
is.
we do want some worker bees on that committee to do some research. So thank
So
you
that's
for that, Becky, and I'll have a report at the next meeting.
Good. You've got a nice list going there for people to participate.
Thank you.
I really don't have anything this evening except to say that Police Chief dropped by, and he brought us a tape of the Pride Day. He does this, well, I guess his son Michael did this one, he said, but
Michael came.
I'm sure that the quality is every bit as good as what the chief did, so you can put that in our archives. Another thing I'd like to do, if it's all right with you folks, William Ward is retiring from the Water District, and I know the Water District is a separate entity, but everybody who is in town government knows Mr. Ward and the work that he has done. I'd like to send him a letter of congratulations from the town for all he has done.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I did read in the paper that the Friends of the Library are going to be sponsoring Ghost Tales by Candlelight at 2 o'clock on October 28th over at South School. Now, they did this before, and I guess it was very well taken, so anybody who's not busy on the 28th at 2 o'clock, go to South School. And it helps the Friends of the Raynham Library, and they do a phenomenal job with everything. Other than that, correspondence is very light. I have a letter here from the Bristol County Agricultural High School. This letter is to our sending community, serves as notification of a change in tuition billing procedure. Previously, Bristol County Agricultural High School has invoiced communities a tuition assessment based on the current year October 1 enrollment for each municipality multiplied by the approved tuition rate for that school year. The Bristol County Agricultural High School's Board of Trustees have voted that starting in the 2018-19 school year, our tuition assessment will align with the Chapter 7 funding. Therefore, each district's tuition assessment for the fiscal year shall be determined by the municipality's previous year's pupil enrollment multiplied by the present year's approved tuition rate. Doesn't have any numbers to it, so we know what we can expect. I have a 2019 seasonal population increase estimation form that has to be filled out. Perhaps we can set a date for
Yep,
next
I would
week.
set it for the 23rd, I believe the date is,
Right.
October 23rd.
It's our next meeting.
Okay.
Yes, yep.
David, you'll know to have that filled out, and so we can vote on that on the 23rd. I have a very nice letter here from Elizabeth Mora from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Dear Director Mora and members of the council, I want to make you aware that $10,000 for your council was adopted in the Senate budget and upheld during the Conference Committee state budget for fiscal year 2019. While budget season is never easy, I was pleased to sponsor this item. The budget now goes to the governor for approval. Your organization does important, necessary work for our community and our senior citizens. Thank you for all you do, and it's signed, yours sincerely, Mark Pacheco. We thank Mark very much for his intervention in getting $10,000 for, would you please send him a letter to thank him for that. That's correspondence. Any input from the audience? Hearing none. Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, sign the bills, no business thereafter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much for coming.